Alrighty, we are back. I think the audio should be coming through. A little bit of a mix-up. Haven't done a stream in a while, but I figured I'd try something different. Before we get going, as you can see on screen, I have the Ruins of Perdition little infographic on display. This is the terrain set that's currently ongoing. It's a terrain set that currently has its Kickstarter ongoing, produced by Mini Wargaming. They were nice enough to send me a sample for review. That video is up on the channel, so you can check that out and give their Kickstarter a look-see if it's something that intrigues you. My opinions on the terrain set are in that video. Overall, I think it's neat. Looks good, and it's modular, and it can serve a narrative or matched play, which is always a plus. But relating to this idea of doing a homebrew spotlight as a live stream, I've decided to give it a try for a few reasons. The first being that of the homebrew spotlights I've done so far, the metrics of those videos, the video performance, hasn't been ideal. And given that's the case, I think it may be better suited for the live stream format. This is because, well, homebrew spotlights and rule discussions are, I think by their nature, more conductive for conversations for a live stream. Right? It's easier to look at rules, talk about them, get your feedback, and go through them together, compared to something like a hobby stream, which is, while enjoyable, I find hobby streams stretch my attention between the actual hobbying and paying attention to chat. And it's for those reasons I've decided to switch the format for the Homebrew Spotlight. So, today's Homebrew Spotlight is a Space Marine detachment. It's sent in by Connor, and it's for his Iron Paladins detachment, or his Iron Paladins Space Marine chapter, and the detachment here is called the Entombed Brothers. So, fair warning, I haven't given this a look or a review ahead of time. We're going to go through it together. We're doing it live. So let's see here. The Entombed Brothers. Let's give the flavor text a review. Well, actually, before we get looking at it, the formatting here looks beautiful. Very much appreciated. Love the attention to detail. Making it look official helps the homebrew certainly feel more tasteful. Okay, so Entombed Brothers. The flavor text here states, the Space Marines of the Iron Paladins stand with their fallen comrades above all else. They have been trained to fight alongside their dreadnought brethren. They believe in an eternal life cycle, represented by a diamond, like the one on their symbol. Okay, that must be the chapter badge. The 4 points represent before being a Marine, being a full-fledged member of the chapter, being a veteran, and being a dreadnought. Each line represents becoming a brother of the chapter, becoming a veteran, and becoming a dreadnought, and finally true death. They believe the only way to leave the cycle is for the Emperor of Mankind himself to remove you from that cycle. Okay, pretty cool flavor text, a little bit of chapter lore there for the Iron Paladins. The life cycle element of that is not something I've seen flexed too heavily, which is pretty cool. A chapter that venerates becoming a dreadnought. I suppose all chapters do, with maybe the exception being White Scars, but for the most part, it's a pretty cool flex to lean into that. Okay, so let's look at the rules themselves. The detachment rule is rally behind the ancients. The Iron Paladins are adept at fighting with their fallen brothers, showing their true skill when doing combined assaults. So that's our thematic direction here for the rule. And the rule itself is all units with the Adeptus Astartes Walker keyword gain the following ability. Shield of Iron. When a friendly Adeptus Astartes infantry is within 6 inches of this unit, whenever that infantry unit is targeted by a ranged attack, it has a +1 to its save. So a 5+ becomes a 4+. But more likely a 3+ becomes a 2+ in most cases for your infantry. So this is an aura ability. So your walkers gain an aura to boost the save characteristic of infantry nearby, which is certainly strong. And then it goes on to say all units with the Adeptus Astartes infantry keyword gain the following ability. Okay, so your dreadnoughts, this is part 1. Your dreadnoughts gain this ability, and your infantry gain this ability. Speed of the Young. When a friendly Adeptus Astartes Walker unit is within 6 inches of... When a friendly Adeptus Astartes Walker unit is within 6 inches, that unit adds 2 inches to its movement characteristic, and add 1 to all charge and advance rolls. Okay, so all units give auras to each other, infantry and walker. And then we have some keyword definitions here. In the muster army step, you can select 2 Adeptus Astartes Walker models from your army. The selected units gain the character keyword. This means that the selected models can be given enhancements, and one of them can be selected as your warlord. Neat. Okay. So we have some accounting for giving walker units the character keyword and becoming your warlord, for enhancements, and for that thematic warlord flex. I like this. I like it a lot. It is effective at emulating the theme at play here, the combined, the benefits that each side of the cycle brings to the other. The only issue, I think, is Walker would include Invictor Warsuits, which probably is not on theme, necessarily. So, you know, up to Connor to make the adjustment if he desires, but I would probably make an amendment there, or I would suggest an amendment to exclude Invictor Warsuits from Shield of Iron and include Invictor Warsuits for Speed of the Young. Or maybe not, because it's a vehicle. So just the exclusion here for Shield of Iron. Okay, over to enhancements. We have Iron Spear. Adeptus Astartes infantry model only. All models melee weapons in the bearer's unit gain the Lance keyword. All models melee weapons in the bearer's unit gain the Lance keyword. Okay, +1 to wound on the turn you charge for all models in an infantry unit is very good. Very good for 15 points. It is conditional because it's only on the charge. Speed of the Young, +1 to advance and charge rolls, and increased movement is only for the walker units, only for the dreads. So you don't have to think about synergy there, but yeah, 15 could be low, could be a bit low. Eternal Protector does... Sorry, Eternal Protector is 25 points. Adeptus Astartes Walker only. The bearer can use Iron Bulwark Stratagem for 0 CP, so we'll have to see what that is. Must be something in the Stratagem section. Revered Ancient for 20 points. The bearer adds 6 inches to the Shield of Iron ability. which is the save characteristic boosting feature of the revered, or sorry, of the aura which Dreadnought units have. Yeah, that's pretty good. 12-inch aura to improve your save characteristic. That's super good. Super good. Covers everywhere. Marines with a 2-up armor save is pretty strong. And Young Blooded for infantry only. Oh, it's the inverse. The bearer adds 6 inches to the range of the speed of the Young ability. Which is... Should it be 20 points? I feel like you're going to have more infantry units will benefit off of this ability than off of Shield of Iron than Walker units would benefit off of the 12-inch Aura of Speed of the Young. But I think it's neat. I think it's neat to have enhancements that tie into the overall toolkit with a detachment. That's most interesting to me. Okay, let us go to stratagems. So I have Iron Bulwark here. In your opponent's shooting phase, 1 Adeptus Astartes Walker unit from your army. Select 1 friendly infantry unit that was targeted by a ranged attack. All ranged attacks for that phase must target the Walker unit instead, including the attack that just targeted the infantry unit. All ranged attacks that phase must target. That is crazy. That is really, really good. Maybe too good, right? It's used in your opponent's shooting phase, 1 Adeptus, and you choose a Walker unit in your army. Select 1 friendly infantry unit that was targeted by a ranged attack. All ranged attacks that phase must target that Walker unit. Yeah, that might be a bit too egregious, too powerful. Right, I think it needs some stipulations around range limitations. If you must if you're forcing all units that can target a Walker unit, I think you need to limit this stratagem, Iron Bulwark. You need to restrict it to only affect units within eligible range of the selected Walker unit. Because otherwise it's too strong, and it might even have to be 2 CP, because this is just such a heavy restriction. Because as it's written, you're just going to turn off the enemy shooting phase if you hide a Walker. And then select that Walker for the stratagem. So I like the theme behind this. Like we do see stratagems in existing detachments in the fight phase that would force enemy units to target the target of the stratagem instead of the unit they want to target. You see this on, I think in one of the Blood Angels detachments, you have a stratagem, like a Angelic Sacrifice type stratagem. So I would look into some of the verbiage in that stratagem and apply that here if you want to keep it to 1 CP. So I like the theme here, but I think there needs to be some extra restrictions around here. Perhaps incorporate the restrictions section you see on stratagems. Whooper Clan, you made that. Welcome, Whooper Clan. Well, we're looking at your detachment. I gave your real name that you sent in via email a shout out, so there is that. But henceforth, I will refer to you as Whooper Clan. Lowered Shoulder. In the fight phase, your movement phase, or charge phase, 1 Adeptus Astartes Walk unit that is yet to move. Until the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit makes a move, it can move through terrain features. Okay, I think this stratagem is good. I think it's fine for 1 CP. It's not an exception that is yet to be seen in the lay of the land of detachments. Like, we've seen a lot of vehicles and monster stratagems that could allow them to move through terrain features. The only suggestion I would make is to just copy and paste the language used, just so it's a bit more familiar. But functionally, I think this one is fine. Totally fine. And very thematic for a Dreadnought flexing detachment. Armor of Contempt looks to be your bog standard obligatory inclusion, which is not interesting, but not something I would frown upon, because I think it's the paradigm we're in. So let's stick to it for tastefulness' sake. Next stratagem we have is Ancient Aggression. So a little clerical error used in your movement phase just after Adeptus Astartes Walker unit from your army advances, but we have a shooting phase little icon here, so that's just a little bit of a copy and paste error. Not a big deal, but I figured I'd mention it for posterity. You choose that Walker unit, and that unit is eligible to shoot and charge, but must shoot and charge the nearest enemy unit. So you can advance, shoot, and charge, but only the closest eligible. I don't hate this. 1 CP. Look, it has a restriction built in, so it's not just a free advance, shoot, and charge whatever you want. It has to be whatever's closest. I don't hate it. It's a thematic restriction, and it gives you a little bit of play because you can still shoot with other things first, and maybe free up what is the closest target, if you wanted to. So that's pretty neat. Gives you a little bit of space to play within. Primordial Frenzy is our fight phase stratagem in your opponent's shooting phase after a friendly unit has been targeted by a ranged attack. Okay, so this is another little clerical error that I'd point out, just for your own upkeep. Because the template you have here, Whooper, is very nice. It looks legit and official, but it is marred by these minor grievances. Opponents' phase stratagems only should be red instead of the green or the blue we have here. And it should be a shooting phase one instead of a fight phase symbol. But these are small little design things, not a big deal. So the stratagem itself is used on, or the target of the stratagem is a unit from your army that was selected as the target of one or more of the attacking unit's attacks, and it's in the enemy shooting phase. The targeted unit can make a movement as if it were your movement phase. Primordial Frenzy. So a reactive move when shot. 1 CP isn't bad, it's a strong stratagem. You make a full movement, and it's any unit you want. I don't think it's strong, but I don't think it's broken. Maybe a restriction would make it more flavorful. If it was something that affected walkers only, or infantry only, or... Yeah. I'm pretty mild on this one. I don't love it, don't hate it. I think it's serviceable. The unit can make a movement phase. Yeah. Like, it's not a d6-inch movement, so it is very strong just to make a free reactive move once you're shot. You're essentially doing like a battle focus fade back from Eldar for 1 CP, which is not terrible. It's actually quite good. And into the next life. So it's used in any phase. 1 Adeptus Astartes Walker unit from your army that has just died but hasn't rolled Deadly Demise. Do not roll a d6, instead roll 2d6 and deal the amount of mortal wounds equal to the number you've rolled. Interesting. So it's an automatic blow up, but not even d6. You're getting 2d6. This is a pretty hefty exception. I'd almost want to just keep it more in line. Just automatically blow yourself up if you want to. And maybe you can re-roll it or +1. 2d6 could just, like, dealing 12 mortal wounds is crazy, right? You could do 12 mortal wounds to every unit within 6 inches. Like, it's a bit too egregious, I think. If you're going to keep it 2d6, I think it needs to be a 2 CP stratagem, personally. So I think you either make it 2 CP or you just copy and paste the auto blow up stratagems you'd see in... I think you can see one in the Admech Codex, I believe. But I've seen it prop up in other places too, I think. Oh, and for Primordial Frenzy, I would just copy and paste the verbiage for reactive reactive moves after being shot. Or just even reactive moves when enemies come too close. I would copy and paste the verbiage here. Whooper says, I forgot to edit it, but I was going to make it 2 CP. Oh, for Into the Next Life? Yes, I think if it's 2 CP, it's much more tasteful. Yeah, because you could just choose to blow up, and then if you roll the double 6, or even if you roll 8, 8 or 9, like something a little above average, just 9 mortal wounds to each unit, with each enemy unit or friendly unit within 6 inches is crazy good. Crazy. So that should be a 2 CP error, I think. Yeah, overall, I don't think what's here is bad at all. I don't think it's overpowered necessarily. That stratagem for 1 CP is strong. This is strong too, but I think Iron Bulwark is very strong too. But I assume these are more oversights, mechanical oversights, than if they were changed to how I suggested or recommended. I don't think the detachment is too egregious. The +1 to save, that is very strong, but dreadnoughts aren't benefiting, and you could, if you're facing off against the Entombed Brothers detachments, I think it just becomes a case of, okay, I need to get rid of the walkers if I'm going to get rid of the infantry. If that's an issue for me. If I'm lacking AP for power armor, and that 3+ to 2+ matters, I think it becomes an issue of, okay, we're going after the dreadnoughts first, and that is just what it is. That's what this detachment kind of is encouraging for the play experience of your opponent. I don't think it's too egregious. And then once the dreadnoughts are gone, they lose that benefit. So I think it's all right. Iron Bulwark for 0 CP with this enhancement. And Iron Bulwark was... oh, the super strong target restriction stratagem. Yeah, this is... I think this just needs more verbiage. Because rules as written, it's just super strong. And we have Revered Ancient. No, Iron... yeah, no, that's the only one that's the only enhancement. Eternal Protector is the only enhancement that affects a walker with the free stratagem. So I guess that's the only one to consider for synergies. Yep, I think that is this Homebrew Spotlight completed. I think that's it. So, is there another Homebrew detachment to review? To be honest, I thought this would be a bit longer. We're playing it by ear here, so let's see here. Well, I do have quite a few options in the inbox here. However, I don't think, unfortunately, it's going to take a little bit of formatting, which I don't think I should be doing live on stream. A lot of the submissions are having their details specified in the emails themselves, and I don't think it's wise to throw up the emails on stream. So I think that might be all. I think that might be all. A little bit of an experimental quick stream for a Homebrew Spotlight. Unless there are further questions around the Entombed Brothers Detachment, I think we're going to wrap it up. Yeah, it's been a bit slow on the channel lately. For this week, I am planning to make a channel video likely around thoughts on indirect weapons, their problems, and my solution, my suggested solution. Which I think will be an interesting one. So that is on the schedule for I guess, content to look forward to. With regards to fans of the Homebrew Spotlight series and, I guess, effort of this being an ongoing thing, I assume a fair amount of the people who enjoy it will be looking at this stream after it's a VOD. So, if this format is more preferable, let's see if we can make it a thing, because I think the live stream format is more conducive for this sort of spotlighting content. This sort of spotlighting community content, right? It's more conversational. I think it's better than something heavily edited, which, to be frank, requires a lot more effort. But I think with that, we'll wrap up this quick little Homebrew Spotlight. Benefit of hindsight, maybe I should have set up a hobby stream to roll into after the fact, but I didn't. I didn't do that. Or I should queue up a few of these. Maybe we'll try that for next week. We'll give this another go, another Homebrew Spotlight stream. Prep maybe 3 or 4? What do you think? How many Homebrew Spotlights would be able to fit into a typical 1.5 hour, 2 hour stream? Probably 3 or 4. What time are we at now? Yeah, we're at 30 minutes for one, so I think 4 should be fine. 4 is the max. That's what we'll shoot for. All right, everybody. So I've done my plugs. Oh, I guess also check out the Mini Wargaming Runes of Perdition Kickstarter campaign. I have a link on my community tab, as well as in the video where I review said terrain set. So, if you made it to the end of this shorter than average Homebrew Spotlight stream, you guys are the real hobby heroes. If you like the video, like it. Leave a comment on this stream if it's something you'd like to see more of. Because I think, like I said earlier, I think Homebrew Spotlights are probably better suited for live content. But anyways, that's a wrap on this one, and I'll catch you guys